so fascinating to me, I wrote down notes about this. I write every morning and I just could not stop thinking about this.
Underage people have accounts, and the website is recommending people with underage accounts videos like this.
So those are the new rules, and I think that two things are true, okay? Firstly, this is a really great move by Twitch. Secondly, this is a really bad sign for Twitch. Okay, so I had a whole other video that I was gonna drop tonight, but Twitch just updated their content policy and I have to talk about this. So Twitch has been in the conversation all over the internet because a new meta has emerged that has been really, really working for a lot of women. A lot of women on Twitch have been doing topless streams where they react to comments, where they just kind of stand there, no top on. You can't see below their chest, but you can see a lot of their chest, and it is absolutely pumping views. Now, obviously these streams are very controversial because Twitch is full of children. Minors use the website in a huge, huge way, and these streams were getting recommended to those children as proved by Asmongold.
I think here's what the problem is. If I go to my For You page, it makes me think that I'm not on Twitch.
I went to make a test Twitch account as a 14 years old to then test what I would get recommended without clicking anything. This is the result. What the fuck?
And this issue gets even more complicated and layered and controversial when you start to realize that a lot of these women that are doing these topless streams, these sexy streams that are being recommended to children off Twitch are OnlyFans creators or sex workers that are creating sexually explicit stuff and putting it on Twitter, putting it on OnlyFans. So essentially, children are logging onto Twitch and getting recommended naked streams by porn stars that create porn off the website. So that brings in a whole nother level to the conversation that we're going to get into later in the video. But right now, I want to focus on the content policy updates that have just been released. Just quickly, my 2024 tour is on sale now. In January, I'm in Perth, then I'm going to Melbourne, then Sydney, then Adelaide. Those are all on sale now. More dates are coming, loosebeers.com. Check it out, search my name, you'll find them. This is hot off the press, just posted by Twitch a few minutes ago. We have received consistent feedback from streamers that our current policies around sexual content are confusing and that it can be difficult to know how their content will be interpreted based on these policies. Yeah, consistent feedback is one way to put it. Another way to put it is for the last 18 months, the only thing I have been seeing about Twitch whenever it's discussed outside of Twitch is, oh my God, how are they allowed to do this on the website? Every single month, I feel like there's another OnlyFans creator that figures out a new way to show more of her body on Twitch without getting banned. I swear, these girls are geniuses, and these girls are getting criticized heavily for it, but I don't think that they're in the wrong at all. I think that if these girls are allowed to stream this stuff on Twitch and it fits within the guidelines, then it's not their fault for figuring out that they can do it. I mean, every single content creator pushes the boundaries of rules and figures out what they can and what they can't do and sits just behind that line. I do this with swearing, with what I talk about. There are a bunch of things that I used to say on YouTube that I no longer say because it's against the guidelines. I save all of those naughty words for the stage and all of those themes and everything. It's just a natural part of content creation, especially when you are someone who pushes the boundaries naturally, whether that's with speech or physical actions or sex work. Of course, content creators are going to push the boundaries and figure out what they can and can't do, and it's up to these platforms to properly moderate. So if you're finding that sexual content is getting recommended to minors, that's not the fault of the sexual content creator, mostly. That's the platform's fault for recommending nudity to minors. Of course that's Twitch's fault. We want streamers to feel confident they understand our rules and viewers to feel confident they will get the experience they expect. To accomplish this, we are making two changes effective today: streamlining our policies regarding sexual content and updating the criteria used for homepage recommendations. That sounds good. Yeah, these are clearly very needed changes because for a long time, if you logged onto Twitch, even without an account in incognito, you were getting recommended naked people just doing very sexually suggestive stuff. And you got to think, if that's a 14-year-old boy or a 16-year-old girl that's logging on to Twitch to check out live streaming and they're just getting recommended softcore pornography, that's terrible. and I would imagine borderline illegal. Like, think about your average 12-year-old Zoomer who sees a Kai Cenat clip go viral on TikTok. They go, oh, I want to check out his Twitch, and all of a sudden they're getting confronted with Mork Pie's boobs. It's not what you want kids to see, and I'm sure it's not what she wants kids to see either, because they can't sign up to her other services. We want to make sure the homepage, which is often the first page that viewers land on, is more aligned with viewer expectations. To address this, we're updating the criteria used for homepage recommendations. Streams that are labeled as including drugs, intoxication, or excessive tobacco use, violent and graphic depictions, gambling, and or sexual themes will no longer be included in homepage recommendations. Viewers can still search for or go directly to channels they follow that are streaming labeled content via the left bar of the homepage, but streams using these labels will not be surfaced in homepage recommendation shelves. Streams with these labels will still be included in category page recommendations so viewers can navigate to the appropriate category for this content. Oh my God, I can't believe it. What a brilliant move from Twitch. This is exactly what people have been asking for, and this is just a common sense change that makes a lot of sense. It's going to stop children from being inundated with sexual streams, and it's going to make the homepage of Twitch look like what a live streaming website is supposed to look like. Video games, just chatting, real life streams, stuff that makes sense that isn't sexual. It's not what the average viewer wants to see. There's a huge, unbelievably large market for these more sexy type streams, but they really should not be the face of any website that isn't a porn website. So now that we've gone through the new rules, let's have a look at what you are now allowed to do on Twitch that you were previously not allowed to do at all. And I've got some thoughts on why Twitch are doing this that we'll get into after we read these. God, this is funny. Previously prohibited, but now allowed with label. Content that deliberately highlights breasts, buttocks, or pelvic region, even when fully clothed. Streamers found it difficult to determine what was prohibited and what was allowed, and often evaluating whether or not a stream violated this portion of the policy was subjective. In addition, the former sexually suggestive content policy was out of line with industry standards and resulted in female presenting streamers being disproportionately penalized. So now you can just get your tits out, ladies and gentlemen. You can get your boobs out. You can put the webcam right on your crotch. Gee, I reckon Speed is probably going to switch over to Twitch if they keep going down this line. Fictionalized, drawn, animated, or sculpted, fully exposed, female presenting breast and or genitals or buttocks, regardless of gender. Oh my God, Twitch is going to be the hub for furry artists just drawing their porn on stream. You know what? I would watch that. I would watch that and I would comment, yeah, give the lizard a few extra inches, I reckon. You can contribute to the art. Now that is some hyper niche, super specific content. If that's what you're into, this is the only place you're going to get it. I reckon there's going to be a giant cottage industry of furry artists drawing porn in real time based on suggestions by the audience. And you know what? I'm going to be tuning in. I'm not going to be erect, but I will be laughing. Body writing on female presenting breasts and or buttocks regardless of gender. And erotic dances that involve disrobing or disrobing gestures such as strip teasers. Looks like Twitch is getting ready for GTA 6. And popular dances such as twerking, grinding, and pole dancing are now allowed without a label. So those are the new rules, and I think that two things are true, okay? Firstly, this is a really great move by Twitch. Secondly, this is a really bad sign for Twitch. Now, I think it's a good move because obviously people have just been doing this on Twitch for ages, and women disproportionately have been getting banned for it, and minors have not been protected from seeing this content. So people are just doing it anyway. Twitch has tried to change rules and change rules and change rules, and streamers have just figured a way around it, a way around it, a way around it. So the only way that Twitch can really properly moderate this stuff is by allowing it and then putting it behind a curtain so that minors can't see it. I think that's a great move for kids, great move for these Twitch streamers that want to do this type of stuff, and a great move for Twitch because they're going to make more money. That said, I think that this is a really bad sign for Twitch. Why do I say that? Well, because I think that them allowing this type of stuff is a really big signal and a really big sign that Twitch is desperate. They are losing creators. They are losing viewers. The amount of competition that is popping up in the live streaming space specifically is obscene. I mean, now when the average person thinks streamer, they don't think Twitch streamer. Often, I would say, unless you're heavily involved in the culture of this thing, I would say the average person thinks TikTok streamer now when they think streamer. All these, all the massive new streamers that are blowing up out of nowhere, they're not blowing up on Twitch. I mean, Kai Cenat's probably the only guy that I've seen, as someone who's not super savvy with Twitch culture and streaming culture. Kai Cenat's kind of the only person that I've seen break out of the bubble that is Twitch. But all of the new streamers that I know about, as a person who's not like a massive nerd that watches streams, and I don't mean that derogatorily, I mean like as someone who's not super attuned into the streaming culture, the only new names that I've heard about are the dozens and dozens and dozens of streamers that are popping up on TikTok. Kai Cenat's the only person on Twitch, and then Speed and a bunch of other people that are blowing up on YouTube. And also all of the Kick streamers. So in terms of like PR and what people think of when they think streaming, it's no longer Twitch. It's often TikTok, and then outside of that, it's actually personalities that are dictating where people are going to watch streams. No longer is it platforms. But even from a creator's perspective, right? I'm a creator. I have a pretty big online audience across multiple different platforms, and when I think where I want to stream, it's not Twitch. And I've done Twitch, and I've done it very successfully in the past. Well, successfully is debatable. I mean, look at the color of my hair and the shape of my chin. It's not good. But as someone who has, you know, streamed pretty successfully on Twitch, fast forward a few years, if I think I want to stream something, I'm not going to go to Twitch. I'm going to go to TikTok. I'm going to go to Instagram. I'm probably going to go to YouTube. If I want to do a one-off, like big stream, or if I want to stream consistently, if I ever had to stop touring and doing stand-up for any reason and start streaming to, you know, engage my audience and get that live feel that I really, really enjoy from performing on stage, I'm probably going to do that on YouTube or TikTok, or just multi-stream. And so that's why I think that these rules changing are a great idea, but a really bad sign for Twitch and the business that they're trying to run. The more competition that there are among platforms, the less lenient the platforms have to be, because they have to be more attractive for creators and viewers. And as we know, Twitch has just been hemorrhaging creators, and with those creators leaving, so too do their audiences. It was looking pretty bad for Twitch all the way back when Ninja left to Mixer. He left to Mixer, a bunch of other streamers left to Facebook, and then YouTube started poaching streamers, and now there's Kick, there's TikTok, there's even Instagram announced that you can use OBS on Instagram. Facebook has poached a bunch of viewers. Like the whole streaming landscape is really spread out now, and it's just cannibalizing Twitch, and Twitch is hemorrhaging viewers. And the only thing that Twitch really has going for it that the other websites don't are all of these booby streams. And the massive behemoth industry dominating website that was Twitch just a few years ago, they didn't need these booby streamers, and they understood that it was kind of bad PR for their website in general. So they were happy to just ban and discriminate against these more sexy streamers because they didn't need their money. Now, Twitch is in a very different position, and these women and men that are doing all these more sexual type of streams, they're pulling in heaps of cash that Twitch needs. That's why I think that this move is great for creators, but a really bad sign for the business health of Twitch. Because if you have a look at a website like YouTube, they can afford to not pander to this market. They don't need it at all. They understand that advertisers aren't stoked on sexual content. They understand that it gives the live streaming vibe just a bit of a pervy, sexual, nerd, gamer, weirdo vibe. It's not something they want to attract. They want the average person, and they want kids. And if you start promoting sexual stuff and enabling sexual stuff and really allow your website to be dominated by massive creators that do sexual stuff on the platform and even more sexual stuff off the platform, they understand that kids aren't really going to be allowed to use the website, and those kids turn into the bulk of your viewers and dictate the culture of your website. So a place like YouTube, a place like TikTok, a place like even Facebook, you know, can afford to not have these types of creators. And I feel like if Twitch allows this type of stuff, which to be honest, I think that they should do, because people are doing it anyway and it's massive on their website, and they have to allow it so that they can quarantine it and protect minors from seeing it. If Twitch allows this, which they obviously are, I think that's what they're going to become known for. And I think that's going to erode the culture of the website. No longer will you think of Ninja and Kaiser and IRL streamers and gamers and hilarious live stream moments and Among Us and all of this other stuff that you think of when you used to think of Twitch. In about 5 years, I don't think you're going to think of that when you think Twitch. I think you're going to think of these more sexual, more adult themed and oriented streams. And I think that while Twitch obviously has to do this because it's happening anyway and they can't afford to lose creators, I think it's a really bad sign for the long-term health of Twitch, especially if they're not going to become just a fully adult live streaming website. This is so fascinating to me. I wrote down notes about this. I write every morning and I just could not stop thinking about this. I have the same opinion about the multi-stream decision. I think the multi-streaming is obviously a great move that I really love to see from Twitch, because if you didn't know previously, Twitch, if you streamed on their website, they would not allow you to also stream at the same time that same stream to different websites, right? You had to be exclusive to Twitch if you wanted to, benefit from, all the benefits that partners and, partner creators get. You could only stream on Twitch unless you had a specific different agreement with them, right? Which was just really difficult for creators, especially someone like me who's not, a streamer by trade. If I wanted to do a stream on Twitch, I would prefer for that to go out across all my other social media platforms, but I couldn't. So I had to, either abandon my giant Twitch audience at the time and start again on YouTube, or just stay on Twitch, which everyone knows is dwindling. So Twitch has enabled you to now stream across multiple different platforms, and I think that's a great move and something they should do, and it's really good for creators. But again, I think it's a bad sign for the overall business health of Twitch, because again, a few years ago, the Twitch that we used to know, it could afford to be like, no, you're not allowed to stream on any other website, and creators would go, well, I don't have any other good options, so I'm gonna only stay on Twitch. But now there is so much choice for creators. There are so many different platforms that you can, become a millionaire on. You could become a millionaire on Kick, on YouTube, on Facebook even. You can make a lot of money streaming live on Facebook. And of course, TikTok, we're seeing endless money getting printed on TikTok live streams. It's obscene. So Twitch can't afford to tell people not to stream on these other different platforms, because we have more options now. And now I, as a creator, if they had that rule where I couldn't multi-stream, I would just be like, cool, well, I'm going to stream on every single platform except for Twitch, because that's preferable for me as a creator and you as a viewer. But as preferable as it is, I think it's just a sign to the declining health of Twitch's business model. I mean, think about it. They went from being the only platform that made any sense to stream on to losing people to other different platforms, but those people only left if they were paid an obscene amount of money. And then Twitch was able to buy those people back and pay people to stay on the website. They had that much money. Then they went to, we can't afford to pay for these exclusive deals anymore. And then the only way they could keep people on Twitch was by enforcing and telling them that you could not stream onto other platforms. But then creators just started to leave of their own volition without being paid by other platforms, because they saw the future of Twitch was declining. So Twitch couldn't even keep their streamers in this enforced prison where you were not allowed to stream on other platforms. They just started to leave of their own volition and take that risk. So Twitch just had to give in and go, okay, fine, you can stream on all platforms. And I think that's not necessarily to keep people that are already on Twitch to stay on Twitch. I think that's actually to catch all of these massive streamers that are big on other platforms and to get their streams over to Twitch, because they're desperate, because the biggest streamers in the world are not streaming on Twitch anymore. They're on YouTube, they're on Kick, they're on TikTok, and Twitch needs those streams because, again, no one is really starting their streaming career on Twitch. It's not something that you do. If you want to become a streamer as a profession, you don't start on Twitch. You start on YouTube or you start on TikTok. And that's a really bad long-term effect that will happen to Twitch, because the less people that start on Twitch, the less new viewers go to Twitch to find new creators, which means the less creators will be making millions of dollars 5 years from now on Twitch. And that's why I think Twitch has made this decision, because they're backed into a corner. They cannot afford to lose trends that are making money. They simply can't. You know, all of these streams that are getting heavily criticized for being overly sexual, for, you know, not being what the average Twitch viewer thinks of when they think of Twitch. It's not what they necessarily want on their website. Twitch can't afford to get rid of that anymore. There's a massive, giant market for these types of streams that are incredibly lucrative, and Twitch can't afford to let that go like they could a few years ago. And that's great for creators, but it's not good for the health of Twitch, is it? Brings us to what I talked about at the start of the video, the final point that I've been thinking about a lot. And I've talked about this on my podcast, Spearhead Sundays, a little bit, and I can't stop thinking about it. OnlyFans and OnlyFans creators and people who do sex work and all that kind of stuff, they're on social media, okay? And they should be on social media. I don't think you can ban someone just because they have a job that, you know, isn't brand safe or isn't safe for children to see. However, what we've seen is something that's probably not good. We've seen OnlyFans creators and porn stars, people like Sky Bree, people like, you know, Riley Reid, all of these like massive porn stars, they've become super integrated into content that is for children, you know, where they're joining vloggers, they're doing podcasts, they're doing all these other things, and they're on TikTok and they're doing dances that don't violate the guidelines of TikTok. And all of a sudden you're seeing, you know, a porn star that makes hardcore pornography have 3 million followers on TikTok, and most of those followers, or at least half of them, are underage. And it raises this really interesting ethical discussion, which is, should people who create pornography be allowed to create content that is not pornographic in any way that attracts children on different platforms? And I think the answer should be no. Now, I'm not saying that these content creators should be banned from platforms, because I think that's crazy, and I think that's really discriminatory. But I do think, and I'm not really sure what the proper solution to this is, and I know a lot of OnlyFans creators, and I have no problem with sex work in general, but I do think that it is an issue for an OnlyFans creator to be able to attract a giant audience of children on a different platform, even if they follow that platform's rules to a T. To me, it would be like, imagine if the Wiggles did gang on the side, you know, but on TV and on TikTok and on YouTube and on Instagram and on their live shows and on their CDs and everything like that, they make stuff for kids and they do their little dances and they don't change anything. But if you go to another website, you can see them all some chick. I don't think that they should be allowed to attract a giant audience of children and then over here do porn. But you obviously can't ban sex workers from social media. I think that's morally reprehensible. So I think that maybe a potential solution is, you know, OnlyFans creators, their profiles on other social media platforms need to be like what Twitch has done, kind of put behind a paywall, or not a paywall, but put behind a curtain where minors can't see it. You know, so if you are an adult and you're into hot chicks dancing who do porn on the side, or hot chicks podcasts who do porn on the side, you can see their stuff and you will get recommended their stuff if that's something that you interact with and you're interested in, but minors just don't see it. I think we're at a really interesting phase of the internet where every single person on earth has a social media platform, and all of the different platforms have their own different audiences and different rules and stuff. So you can now, you know, start up a gaming Minecraft YouTube channel where you don't swear and it's targeted at children, but on the side, run an OnlyFans page that's for adults, that is hardcore pornography. And the ethics of that is really murky. I don't think that I just think that it's probably bad to allow porn stars to be put into the feed of minors, even if they're not creating porn on those platforms, they're creating it over here. I don't know. That's kind of my basic thoughts of this whole thing. And I think that that is why this is a really good thing that Twitch has done, because I don't think that we should just ban and blacklist creators that create adult content, because they are human, and social media is becoming increasingly more important to be able to participate in the world as a functioning human being. Even if you're not a content creator, you kind of need at least the internet or some kind of social media platform, even an email account. You know what I mean? I don't think they should be banned, and I don't think that they should be discriminated against. But I also don't think that people who create porn should be allowed to amass a giant million-plus audience of children. So that's where I'm going to leave it. That's what I think. I think this is a great move by Twitch. That's really good for creators. That's really good for child safety on the internet. But I also think it's a really bad indicator of the overall business health of Twitch. But that's nothing new, all right? I'll come back in a couple of days with a more funny comedy video that'll be coming up in a few days. And yeah, I'm touring. Come see me live, loosebeers.com. The dates are here. I want to see you there.